Let's be clear. Your life is filled with invisible burdens, things that hold you down, drag you along, and prevent you from being free. Fear, anxiety, the need to be right, they steal your peace. But have you ever wondered why you still carry them? Philosophy teaches us that true freedom is not found in making noise, but in silencing what no longer serves us. It's an act of silent rebellion. Life is a labyrinth that each of us must walk to find ourselves. If you feel the calling, the unease, the desire to live a life with more meaning, then join us. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, like and share this video, not out of vanity, but because perhaps this is the only way not to walk alone in this labyrinth. In this video, we will reveal the 10 main burdens that turn your journey into chaos. And for each one, we will dive into the wisdom of 3 great masters, each with a unique vision of how to let go of what holds you back. Together, we will form a mind's triangle to guide you, a journey of discipline, detachment, and self-knowledge. Our journey begins with the emperor and thinker, Marcus Aurelius. Then we will find inner peace with the enlightened Prince Buddha. And finally, we will plunge into the abyss of the mind with the Dr. Freud. 1. The fear of other people's opinions. Have you ever stopped to think how many decisions in your life were made out of fear of what others might say? This fear is insidious. It infiltrates our choices. It disguises itself as prudence. And little by little, it turns our dreams into dust. It's like living on a stage, acting a part that isn't even yours, just to please an audience that deep down isn't even paying attention. Have you ever felt that? That feeling of living more for others than for yourself? That's what we're going to talk about.
I am Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, and above all, a man in constant watch over himself. He who lives under the burden of others' opinions becomes an invisible slave. No chain is heavier than the need for approval. The philosophy I defend is simple. Focus on what is up to you. The judgments of others are not under your control, and therefore they do not deserve your suffering. Ask yourself, does this decision I make today honor who I am, or is it just to be applauded? The answer can free your soul.
I am the Buddha, the prince who sought enlightenment and discovered that the cause of all suffering is attachment. When you seek external approval, you are handing over your peace to chaos. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. It always escapes. A mind that clings to the judgment of others lives restlessly. Free yourself from the need to please. Observe what arises within you when you are criticized, and let it go. Just as clouds pass without holding the sky, let opinions pass without touching your essence.
I am SIGMUND Freud, the doctor who plunged into the human mind and discovered that your problems are echoes of a past you have not yet understood. The fear of other people's opinions has deep roots. It is the voice of the superego, that internal judge shaped by society, by parents, by culture. It tells you, you must be this, you cannot be that. But see, these voices are not yours. They were implanted in you. Do you want to be free? Recognize where these patterns come from. Name them. By doing so, you begin to separate who you are from who you were told to be.
Now look inside. Ask yourself, how many choices have you made just to be accepted? How many dreams have you kept in a drawer out of fear of hearing criticism? Here's a challenge. This week, do something small just for you. Something that represents you, even if no one understands. And do it in silence. This is how we begin to break these chains. And tell me, what would you do today if you weren't afraid of what others think? This is the first step. 2. Toxic relationships. Life is not a zero-sum game, but in our relationships, we often find ourselves in a cycle of losses. You know that person who leaves you more exhausted than an entire week of work? That bond that drains your energy more than it nourishes your spirit? Toxic relationships are invisible burdens that you convince yourself to carry. After all, breaking ties can seem cruel, but isn't it more cruel to remain in a place where you cannot be who you are?
He who allows himself to be destroyed by the behavior of another has already surrendered. The Stoic accepts that he cannot control the actions of others, but he can and must control his own reactions and where he focuses his energy. It is an act of wisdom and self-respect to turn away from what is not virtuous. Your peace is not negotiable. Letting go of a relationship that harms you is not an act of weakness. It is the greatest proof of strength you can give yourself.
The attachment to these relationships is your greatest source of suffering. It's like trying to hold a handful of sand. The more force you use, the more it escapes. But you cling. You convince yourself that you need this burden not to feel alone. You tolerate the pain and call it love. But non-attachment is not a lack of love. It is the greatest proof of compassion you can give yourself. It is an act of kindness towards your own spirit. To free yourself, do not fight the person. Just stop holding on. Let go, and peace will arise in the void left behind.
Toxic relationships are not accidental. They are repetitions, a compulsion to repeat dysfunctional relationship patterns from the past. You seek unconsciously to recreate a drama from your childhood. Perhaps what your father or mother did to finally try to win it. The path to liberation is to understand where this pattern comes from. Only by bringing this repetition to light can you choose a different path.
The decision to let go is difficult, but liberating. And tell me, when was the last time you allowed yourself to make that choice out of self-love? Think about it. The liberation from toxic relationships is an act of self-love. But what about the habits you repeat in silence? The ones that wear you down, little by little, before you even realize it. 3. Self-destructive habits. How many times do you find yourself doing the same thing without thinking? The phone in your hand when you wake up, the third cup of coffee, the pointless series. Small habits, harmless, but they repeat. and they become a constant drip that over time wears down even rock. And what's worse, you swear to yourself that you will stop. I'll start for real tomorrow. And tomorrow comes, and it's just another day of excuses. Yes, these are self-destructive habits.
Excellence is not an act, it is a habit. Likewise, self-destruction is not an event, but an accumulation of small choices. The Stoic understands that willpower is like a muscle. You train it every day in small decisions. To eliminate a habit, you don't need a grand spectacle, just small steps in silence. Start today, control your first action, and the rest of the day will become easier.
A self-destructive habit is a cycle of desire and suffering. You do it to feel pleasure, but it leads you to pain. To break it, you must not fight against it, but observe it. Practice mindfulness. When the urge to do something harmful arises, just observe. See the desire in your mind. Feel it in your body, without judgment. And over time, the wave of desire will diminish, and you will be free.
These habits have a purpose. They are a defense mechanism, a ritual of protection. They are your mind trying to escape from something that frightens it. Procrastination, for example, it's not laziness, it's a fear of failure that you refuse to face. To eliminate this burden, you need to ask yourself what you are really avoiding. Change does not happen on the surface. It happens when you have the courage to dive into the root of the problem.
Small habits become great strongholds or great prisons. And tell me in the comments, what small habit do you promise yourself you'll change but never manage to? Start today in silence, and the great change will happen. But what about the desire to control everything? That obsession with thinking that life must follow a script you wrote.
4. The desire to control everything.
We are obsessed with control. We plan every detail to the millimeter. We foresee all the unforeseens, and we convince ourselves that life is a perfectly adjusted machine. But life is an ocean, and every time we try to control what is out of our hands, it's like trying to hold back the tide. Have you ever felt this frustration? When something doesn't go as planned, and you feel like the world is falling apart? This is where the heaviest burden of all lies.
Your search for control is your greatest source of anguish. You worry about the weather, about the opinions of others, about the future, everything that is beyond your reach. The Stoic understands that happiness is in accepting what cannot be changed, and in focusing only on your response to it. To trust life is not to be passive, it is to be wise. It is the most powerful way to take control, by letting go of the uncontrollable.
The desire to control is the seed of suffering. It is born from your resistance to impermanence. It is like a river. It simply flows, and no matter how hard you try, you cannot stop it. To free yourself, let go of the rudder and let life navigate on its own.
The need for control is a form of anxiety. It is a defense mechanism against the chaos of the world. It may have been born from a past trauma, from a moment when you felt you lost total control. To free yourself, you must have the courage to investigate that root.
Freedom is not in holding everything in your hands, but in letting go of what doesn't belong to you. Think about it, and tell me, what would you do differently today if you didn't have the burden of anxiety about controlling the future? Answer in the comments. This is how you begin to free yourself. But what about expectations? The ones that force you to be who you are not.
5. Unrealistic expectations.
We all carry a backpack, and inside it, we put our expectations. Those of our parents, of society, of friends, and our own. We try to fulfill them all, and every time we fail, the backpack gets heavier. Have you ever felt like this? Like you're running a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. What's the point of reaching the end if you arrive exhausted and feeling you're not good enough?
Unrealistic expectations are ghosts created by your mind. They do not exist. Happiness is in living reality, not in chasing a shadow. To free yourself, use reason. Ask yourself, is this expectation mine, or was it planted in me by others? The Stoic does not seek perfection. He seeks virtue. And virtue is in giving your best, not in achieving the impossible.
The desire for life to be one way, and not as it is, creates suffering. Expectations are like weights on your shoulders. You carry them, waiting for a future that does not exist. Liberation is in living in the now, without attachment to the future, and in accepting life in its purest form. When you let go of expectations, the joy of the present moment is revealed.
Unrealistic expectations are inherited. They come from your parents, from society, and from an inner child that still seeks perfection. You need to stop being the person they expect you to be.
Happiness is not in perfection, but in progress. Letting go of expectations is not giving up, it's an act of wisdom. And tell me, what expectation do you carry that is not yours? Answer in the comments. This is how the backpack begins to get lighter. But what about the need to always be right? That silent war you wage in every conversation.
6. The need to be right.
You know that habit of having the last word? Of making every conversation a battlefield? The need to be right is an invisible burden. And what's worse, this war is not with others, it's with yourself. It leaves you exhausted, frustrated, and at the end of the day, alone. What do you gain by always being right? An invisible medal? What do you lose by always being right? Your peace.
Truth is a virtue, but peace of mind is the greatest of all. Fighting to be right is a waste of energy. It is a battle that is not worth it. The Stoic speaks little and observes a lot. He knows that truth reveals itself. Your peace cannot be compromised.
The need to prove you are right is a prison of the ego. It is the attachment to your own opinion. It is the cause of discord. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the choice to not participate in it. Let go of the ego, and
Why
silence
this
will bring
urgency to prove
serenity.
your superiority? This need is a defense mechanism, a way to protect a fragile self-esteem. If you need to be always right, it is because deep down you are afraid of being wrong. Healing begins when you allow yourself to be wrong.
Is it worth always being right at the cost of your tranquility? Think about it. And tell me, when was the last time you had the courage to remain silent and let the other person have the last word? This is how you begin to regain your peace. But what about digital noise? That storm of information that steals your attention and energy. 7. Digital noise. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the lives of others? By the news, by the notifications, by the memes? It's digital noise. It's in your pocket, in your hands, in your mind. It keeps you in a constant state of alertness and makes you believe that if you're not connected, you'll miss something important. But the truth is, while you try to embrace the digital world, you lose what's around you.
The mind is your temple. Protect it. Digital noise is a thief of your attention. The Stoic cannot control the storm outside, but he can close the door and maintain calm within. Turn off notifications, silence the external world, and focus on what truly matters.
The virtual world is an illusion. The lives you see are not real, and the incessant search for more information is a source of suffering. Detach from the screens. Practice silence, for the truth is not on the screen, but in what is around you.
Digital noise
In the now.
is an escape, a distraction to avoid loneliness. It's a defense mechanism against boredom and against the need to be alone with your own thoughts. To silence it, you need to face what it hides, your own mind.
The true luxury of our era is silence. Let go of the fear of missing out. And tell me, what app can you silence today to pay more attention to your own life? Answer in the comments. This is how peace begins. But what about the negative thoughts? The ones that steal your energy without you even realizing it? 8. Negative thoughts. They enter your mind as if they don't want anything. I'm not good enough. Everything will go wrong. I'll never succeed. And suddenly, they are in control of everything. They are negative thoughts. They are destructive patterns that end up shaping your actions. And the most frustrating part is, they feel as real as the ground you walk on. And what you believe, you act on.
The mind is a forge, and you are the blacksmith. Do not allow useless thoughts to enter it. Evil is not in what happens to you, but in what you think about what happens. Use reason, question the thought, and do not let it enter your temple. Remember, evil is not in what happens, but in what you think about what happens.
Negative thoughts are passing clouds, and you are the sky. They come and go, but they do not define you. Observe them without judgment. They will lose their strength, and the sky, which is your mind,
Negative thoughts
will shine
are more
again.
than mere words. They are the voice of your superego, the internal critic. And often, They are a form of unconscious self-punishment. Do not ignore them. Investigate what they are trying to tell you, and confront the origin of your guilt.
Thoughts are not facts, but if you believe in them, they become your reality. Think about it, and tell me, what negative thought can you question today to find your truth? Answer in the comments. This is how you start to change your life. But what about the clutter? The one that is in your room, in your house, and in your mind. 9. Physical and mental clutter. Sometimes we wake up and feel that the world is heavier than usual. You look around and realize it's not the world, it's your space, loaded with things, objects, and chaos. And somehow your head also seems like a disorganized drawer. Clutter doesn't just take up physical space, it also consumes your energy and robs your mental clarity. After all, external order reflects internal order.
External order reflects internal order, and internal order your peace of mind. A messy space is a messy mind. Eliminate what is superfluous. The Stoic lives with what is necessary, for the essential is the only thing that matters.
Clutter is the attachment to matter. It is the illusion that the accumulation of things will bring happiness. With each object you let go of, you free yourself from a desire. With each drawer you organize your mind. Practice detachment and find the lightness of emptiness.
Clutter is a symbol. It is the external manifestation of an internal chaos. It can be a defense mechanism, a way to keep things unbalanced so you don't have to deal with order. Healing begins when you tidy up your mind.
An organized drawer, one step at a time. Change is not magic, it's a process. And tell me, what can you organize today to find mental peace? Answer in the comments. This is how the clarity arrives. But what about comparisons? That imaginary race you run with others. 10. Unnecessary comparisons. We all do this. We run in a competition that others don't even know they're in. You look to the side. You compare your pace, your progress, your success. And without realizing, you feel you're not good enough. Comparing yourself is a betrayal against yourself. It's like running a marathon using someone else's voice. You have your own rhythm, your own melody, but you insist on following someone else's sheet music.
Do not compare yourself. Life is a journey, and everyone walks at their own pace. The only measure of your progress is who you were yesterday. Be indifferent to the victories of others and focused on being better than yourself.
Comparison is the thief of joy. It arises from desire, ego, and envy. It is the illusion that someone else's happiness can be yours. Your journey is unique. Your path is your own.
They are the echo of a childhood competition. The desire to be the favorite child, to be the best. It is the manifestation of an unconscious feeling of inferiority. You need to accept that you are unique and that your search for value must come from within.
You have just heard three men who came from different eras and places: an emperor, a prince, a doctor, and they all said the same thing. The path to peace and freedom is within you, and your journey begins in silence. When you have the courage to let go of the burden you don't need to carry. This is your calling. And if something here gave you clarity or a desire to change, then join us. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, like and share this video. Not so that it reaches more people, but because perhaps this is the way for you not to walk alone. The mind's triangle is not an answer, but it can be the map to a lighter life. And if something inside you still feels trapped in shadows, still longs to understand who you truly are beneath all the masks, then your next step is clear. There's a fire within you, ancient, forgotten, waiting to wake up. Click the video above and watch The Awakening of the Self. It's not just a story, it's a mirror, and what you see in it might change everything.